Hello and welcome back to another video. Today here on the Crew 2 to check out this newly added Cadillac Cyclone, which as you can see is a crazy mad looking thing. Obviously a 1959 concept car, which is why it looks quite so mad. It's quite expensive, $335,000, but I am going to just go straight in and buy it. We won't get the bundle because I've not got enough for it, and I don't really want a Z4 Supra thing. This is much more interesting, but yeah, as you can see, it's a bit wild. If we come up here, should be able to. Hang on. How do you open? I'm sure you can open doors on here. I might have to show you when we get back to the house, because it's not playing for some reason. We do lights. I thought you could usually get it to do things. Right, anyway, let's hop in the Cadillac, head on out, drive over to the house, and then see what customization is available for this thing. Crazy thing. Are those pop-up lights? I think it's got pop-up lights. But anyway, yeah, as I was saying, 1959 Cadillac concept, quite modern for its time. Obviously, well, we had a lot of these crazy concepts in the 50s inspired by space and rockets and landing on the moon and everything, which, yes, didn't quite happen then, but space exploration was all new and everyone was excited about it. So that's why we had a lot of concepts that looked like this. But yeah, it had some crazy technology. It had all-independent suspension, which, it kind of wallows about like a boat, so you can't really tell that. It had that, and you could equip it with a bubble top, which, if it wasn't up, could fit in the back, which I find hard to believe, but apparently it could on some kind of airbag thing. And apparently the top of the canopy was coated in silver for UV protection, which I think is probably just done so you can say my window is coated in silver, but yeah, apparently that's for UV protection. They did that. The doors are very interesting, which I'll show you when we get back to the house. And yeah, those funny nose cones on the front, again, you can't really see them, I'll show you them properly back at the house, are a radar collision avoidance system, which I think, if we look on the dash, there you go, see the thing in the middle with the feet and stopping distance and proximity and things? That's a avoidance system, which is done through these cones on the front ends of the car, apparently. So it senses things with those and relays it back to you through the middle thing. Right, let's head over to the house and see what we can do with this thing. I at least want to repaint it, even if we can't do anything else. I mean, it's the Crew 2. You usually can do loads of things, but we'll find out. Let's head over there and see what we can do. So, here we are, back at the house with the Cyclone XP74 concept. It is 107 class, as you can see, which means it's higher starting number than an E-Type coupe, because of course it is. But anyway, let's hop into the customization. You can probably see better now those sort of black nose cones on the front. As you saw, the lights were in the middle, not there. The lights kind of popped up from the middle. So those nose cones, like I said, were actually an early radar system. If you think of the tiny little radars you have on the front of cars now, that's kind of what they started as. Let's get into these. So all you can really do is the wheels. I hope nobody changes those, that'll ruin everything. There we go, that is the bubble, which in real life is silver coated and apparently fits in this back section. I will throw that on. Interior. Okay, see, there you go, that's how the doors open. That's an example of that. I think I'm probably going to go with the red. Ooh, or the blue. Shall we see what colour we do the outside? So yeah, that's the doors, and that is the bubble, which apparently fits in this rear section if you don't want it up. Which I find hard to believe, but apparently it sort of sits on an airbag thing back there. Right, anyway, let's find a colour. Silver's the only official colour. I'm thinking something like, hang on, have we got metallic? It's got to be something metallic. Oh yes, look at that. I'm trying to go with something sort of very 50s. Yes, like the old Cadillacs. Do we want to go with that, or do we want to go with the more of the gold bronze sort of colour? I feel like that with red seats. Not usually a colour I'd go for. I think it just works on this. Hang on, if it'll let us see the interior. Yes, that with red. No, all red. What's it actually changing? Oh, the bit on the wheel. Carbon fibre looks stupid in old cars. Let's just leave that standard. Vanity, I don't know why you'd want to change the tyres unless you go for the full white ones. Otherwise that's going to look terrible. Do we want to put some smoke on? Sure. Which one was the cool nitro? Was it that one? Bit of yellow underglow to match the... Oh. Window tint. Why would you want to do that? You then can't see the brilliant interior. Although those... I think maybe that one. Kind of like the ones that sort of fade in and out. Oh, we'll leave that alone. But yeah, that is kind of all you can do with it. Actually, shall we quickly check these? Of course somebody's made a Batmobile. That's actually really cool. Fire flash. That's really nice, actually, with just the little details. That's just completely blacked out. That's kind of cool. What's this? No. the kind of quite subtle white one kind of looked cool, but I'm not sure. And as much as I like that colour, I really liked that. That's also very 50s. I feel like I prefer that. I know I've now spent money twice on that. Right. Let's go and see what this looks like outside. Make sure the colour works. So we found that the Alpine actually looks quite different out here. I think that's kind of cool. It's amazing how far back he sits, but it's kind of the middle of the car, because it goes on for about 100 miles in front and behind. Something very American has appeared. Wow. Look at that, though. I mean, is that not just the craziest thing you've ever seen? And the way the doors open, and the way the roof is, and apparently that... The only reason the back is that big is to fit the thing in it. And apparently, originally, these fins on the back were even bigger. They were the size of the ones on the Eldorado, apparently. I think the concept, they later shrunk them down on the concept to fit in with the newer models, which had smaller fins, but imagine that with massive Eldorado fins on the back. It's just a crazy, crazy thing. I do love some of these. The style of, like, the 50s American cars. It's just so wild. 50s and 60s American cars with all the inspiration from space travel and everything, and you can see that. I mean, look at it. They had some crazy, crazy concepts back then. Lots of crazy new technologies. Crazy looking things like this. And a car this size that only has 2 seats. That happened a lot. It's the size of the moon, and it's a 2-seat car. And it handles like a boat, but it's got lots of power and looks like that. I mean, who doesn't want a car that looks like that? I mean, that's a little bit of a goldfish bowl on the top, but it's just mad. I love it. Right, I think what we should do is throw some 280 parts on this and take it for a street race, because it's a street race vehicle, according to the crew too. Okay, so we're doing the Strip South street race, because we can get it onto Ace. I was going to do the Motor Trend Classic race, which I seem to do quite a lot, but I thought this would kind of fit closest with that. But unfortunately Ace difficulty isn't unlocked on that. I need to sort that, really. I need to play this game more. But yeah, we're doing this one on Ace difficulty. Let's see if we can beat the new cars. Tearing up the road. Okay. It's a bit slow off the line. Oh, what are you doing, you stupid Ford Focus? Made me lose focus. Being beaten by a man called Aaron in a Ford Focus. Go! Being beaten by a Ford Focus and an Audi TT. What is this? Forza Horizon 4? Yes, I kind of feel like, although theoretically in the Crew 2 all 280 cars are 280 and perform the same, this doesn't handle brilliantly. It's definitely not going to be the best car, let's say, for winning things. Shortcut. Missed the corner. Come back here, Wayne. Yeah, it's not brilliant to drive. It's amazingly cool. I love it, but yeah, to actually race, it's still a bit boaty. It's not the best. We're not going to quite get the win, but we worked our way back up to second after a horrendous start, so it's not the worst thing in the world, but yeah, it's not great for racing. Usually in 280 you'd win easily, even with a start like that, so... Of course my driving was bad, but usually I win even with a start like that. So yeah, it's not... It does still handle a little bit like a boat. I've just realised that underglow is the colour that matched the previous paint, so that looks a bit odd. Anyway, really, really cool thing. Not going to be winning anything with it though, particularly. So I wouldn't recommend using it online or anything like that, because it's not even brilliant against AI, which is partly down to the driver, but partly down to the car as well. Wait, hang on, when you're in here, can you see that that's glass? Or is it just the same as if it's open? Oh yeah, one other feature of this car. Where do you think the exhausts are? That's right, they're there at the front. You'd have kind of thought those were the exhausts at the back, but no, those are just lights. The exhausts are right at the front, which I suppose makes sense. The engine's at the front, why not just run them straight out the side and having a big pipe under the car? Yeah, that's another feature of this. So, exhausts at the front, radar system, bubble top, funny doors, big fins. It's just the kind of, it's how you'd describe a 50s concept car, isn't it? It's how you'd expect a 50s American concept car to be. But yeah, I love these sort of wild 50s concept cars. Really pleased it's in here. Bit of an obscure car that nobody would have necessarily asked for in the Crew 2, but I love that they add random things like this. It's such a cool car. Something completely different to anything we've got in, well, any game, really. Really, really cool. So yeah, it's not fast, but it's amazingly cool, so do go and get it if you haven't. I mean, look at it. Why wouldn't you want that? Anyway, I'm kind of going on a bit at this point, so yeah, I think that is going to do it for today's video, taking the first look at the Cadillac Cyclone concept. Amazing, amazing thing. But yeah, that is going to be all for today's video, so thank you very much for watching, and I'll be back with the next video very soon.